Well, I've been really looking forward to our next interview on the weekly Dartscast. Now, before we begin, a declaration of interest. We are friends. So as a result, journalistic impartiality does have to be parked at the door somewhat. But over the last 8 years, and he'll probably tell you it feels longer, I've always thought that one day I'm going to ask the following question. Connor Scutt, you are the PDC tour card holder. Congratulations. How do you feel?
I feel great. It's good. It's been a long time coming. 8 years. Really been 8 years. I know it's been 5 years since we've done the first weekly Dartcast interview, but 8 years. That's a long time.
It is.
I've only been playing for 10.
Well, yes, because you're a teenager in the IDL, weren't you? In an individual league. Yeah.
Funny enough, come up with my Facebook memories. 10 years ago today, I played in my first ever tournament.
Really?
Yeah.
That's really good, isn't it?
So strange.
Well, it's an amazing journey. I know it's a terrible cliche, that, isn't it? But
awful, but it fits.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing. I mean, has it sunk in? Yeah, I mean, obviously you've had you've been in demand in the media.
Yeah, just a little bit. Everyone wants a piece at the minute, but yes, it has sunk in. I think it's strange. I think from everyone sort of tipping me, I went through Twitter like I think it was a few days before, maybe a week before, and there was 20 odd people that I didn't know. So it's not including the people I know that tipped me to get a card, and I was on everyone's list, and I was like, what? How am I on everyone's list to get a card? Have I really been playing that well this last 6 months or whatever? But apparently I have.
It's yeah. I mean, I was certainly going to open with that because 12 months ago, you're 80-1, going in very much under the radar. This time you're on everyone's, as you say, everyone's prediction list, which is always a fool's errand anyway at the best of times. I mean, how do you cope with that change?
I didn't really look too much into it. I mean, for me this time last year was when I lost my granddad. Obviously, the month after was QSchool. I think we spoke about it in the QSchool diaries or whatever. I probably didn't say it then, but I wasn't in the right headspace. I just wasn't. Like I had so much like going on in my head and stuff. I didn't really have an awful lot of time to put the hours in, put the practice in, because of the job I was working at the time. And then a few months later, everything changed. I sort of changed my job back to my dad, so freed up some time. I met my current missus, my current girlfriend, and everything's just happened. I'm really happy in my home. I keep saying it in interviews and stuff that I'm really happy in my home life, and I am. And it's made my game come on leaps and bounds. Just being happy, like I don't feel stressed out or anything anymore. Like I'm just playing darts. I love playing darts, and I'm doing it as a job now. It just goes to show, like when I am in like the right headspace, right frame of mind, what can happen. Like so, I've always, like you know yourself, like a few years ago, like we played. What was it? The Riley's Open, and it was the first of 4 games, but for the first 3 legs, I was averaging 118, and this was when I was, how old was I then? 20, so 5 years ago. Well, roughly when the Unicorn contract started. So I've always had the game there, but I've never been sort of happy enough in other aspects of my life for it not to put pressure on me and like feel like I have to perform every time. Now I'm a lot happier and a lot more relaxed. Like I've got everything going for me. I've got like my manager Brian on side tells me what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. L Style on side, flights and stems, they're brilliant. Mission has just come on board. They're amazing. Couldn't do enough for me. Like I've got so many good people behind me, not just in the darting world, but in my home life as well. And obviously you got like my mate Ben, got my mate Nathan, got yourself, like all the different tournaments I go to and stuff. You guys are always there messaging me and everything. Like it really pays off having like a strong sort of support behind you.
Yes, because we often think that it's a mistake to think it's just the darts player, but behind every successful darts player, there is a team of people, isn't there?
There's a massive team of people. Like I think I said it in an interview I done the other day, but I'm a very lucky dart player, and I know that as well. I'm not one of those that I don't go to the hotel room after a game, whatever, and sit on my own with no one to talk to, no one to like reach out to, sort of thing. I'm not on my own. I've got like a massive support network behind me, and it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Like, my mental health couldn't be in a better place. It never has been in a better place.
Oh, that's really nice to hear. That's really nice to hear. Well, we do, of course, have to relive some of QSchool now. We can say that because there's a happy ending to that, but you know,
The end of this time.
and obviously, you know, star of the weekly darts cast QSchool diaries from 12 months ago when it was in a bubble. Now, it wasn't in a bubble this time, but it's still, you know, there's still a hubbub, isn't there, when you're in that sort of environment?
A lot of precautions were made. The PDC done brilliantly with what they were doing, the precautions that they took. Everyone was wearing masks, walking around the venue and things like that. They done very, very well with sort of the influx of player that they had. They done brilliantly, done really, really well.
Well, that's great to hear. Absolutely, and yeah, very much it's still an issue, isn't it? So we look at those first few days, and it was a tough start, you know, and a couple of defeats to Chris Gilliland and Nick Fulwell, and it set you up for quite a nerve-wracking third day.
I think I can't remember an awful lot of what happened. I think I was so sort of enthralled in everything that was going on, which is a good thing. I don't remember everything that went on, but after the Nick Fulwell game, Nick played well. He did play well that game, but there was something Brian noticed in my game that I had no idea, and if he hadn't noticed it, I wouldn't have been able to rectify it. I was standing over to the left more, which sounds so silly, but it made all the difference. I was hitting a lot more fives and stuff. My doubles were nowhere near. I think I had a shot of 56 to start clawing, start making a fight back against Nick, and I missed it by a mile. And it was the pure fact of I was just standing a little bit too far to the left. The next day, we fixed that. And then I think it was the day after that, we said, right, do the same thing we done yesterday, but put a bit more pace into the game. So I threw a little bit quicker, and it just flew. It went really, really well. And also I got the points that I needed to get into stage 2.
Absolutely. And there's no nervous waits this year compared to last year, of course.
No nervous wait. That was a horrible wait, that was a horrible wait.
Yes, Graham Usher had a similar one. I spoke to him as well. Yeah, no, it just getting into stage 2 is an achievement.
It was because in your head, like my other half was being very, very supportive and stuff. Like we like call of the evenings and stuff like that. But I was thinking in the back of my head, like, I've only got 1 point, or I haven't got any points after the first day, and I'm like, I've won a game and I haven't got a point for it. That's a hard spot to be in, and there's a lot of very, very good dart players in that room. A lot of very, very good dart players. So sort of like, I just forget it, just do your normal thing, just try and don't think about the points, just go for it, sort of thing.
So you go straight in to it's your 4th day, but it's day 1 of stage 2.
And I was looking forward to that because the slate's wiped clean. It's wiped clean, you can make a new start.
And that's tricky because again, an early defeat on the first day, day 2, a couple of wins, so you're sort of getting there.
Who was the first day to? I think it was Warby, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
It was. I'll get on really well with Warby. That was a very, very hard fought game. Warby is a massive fighter. Like, it doesn't matter how far ahead you are, how far ahead he is, he will fight you to the bitter end. There's such a good quality to have as a player, and that's what that game really showed. I think he had a 94 average, I had a 93, and it was such a close, nip and tuck game. It was a brilliant game to be involved in. I wasn't, sometimes after you lose, you get a bit despondent and stuff, but I wasn't after that. I felt if I played well there, I just lost, which happens sometimes.
That's what QSchool is, isn't it? I mean, there's so many stories like that of very fine margins between very good players.
Very, very fine margins. I mean, if you look at, I think someone that missed out by, was it a point or maybe leg difference? Dan Reed missed out on leg difference. He's a quality player. I played him on one of the days. Great player. But he missed out just on a few legs, which is so difficult.
Absolutely. So then it comes down to your 6th day, but it's day 3 of stage 2, and this is where you make your move. So what's talk us through that? What's the difference in your game at that point?
What was day 3? Who did I play? Was that my Scottish day?
Well, yeah, I think it may well have been. Yes, you got the 4 wins.
Yeah, I think, who did I play first? I think I played Josh Richardson first.
I'll have to refer to my notes. You found me out, so I don't believe it. Well, you can edit this seamlessly into the.
Yeah, make it look like nothing happened.
Well, absolutely, but I mean, it is all a bit of a blur, though, isn't it? Because when you're in the middle,
yeah. all the days blur into one.
Especially when you play for that length of time. So let's just have a look. Right. So yes, it was Richardson first.
Then it was Gary Stone.
Yes.
Then it was Jason Hogg. Then it was Dan Reed. Then I lost to Ross Montgomery.
That's correct. Yes.
In the quarterfinals. I want to say quarterfinals.
It was the quarterfinals. Yes.
But I remember that one because in my head I played Josh at the England International Qualifiers, I think it was, in Bridleton. Great player. So I knew what I was up against before I even started playing him. Then Gary Stone, who I've seen in the live league. I hadn't played Gary before that, but I knew about him. Jason Hogg, who I know's I think he's appeared at the World Championship a couple of times. So I knew about him. I know about Dan Reed from local stuff, and obviously I played Ross Montgomery at the Welsh Open this year already. So I knew the players. I knew what I had to do, which is a lot. It's a much easier place to be when you walk into a game and you know the quality of player that you're playing. You're prepared for it. You know what you got to do. And you just got to put your head down and focus and get on and do it. Otherwise, you lose.
And at the same side of things, you're saying now, I knew him, and that's pretty, that's the caliber of player you're with now.
It's very strange. I think on paper, I probably had one of the hardest draws going at QSchool. Like the players that I were playing were all in like the sort of top echelons of the averages. It's a big word, echelons. But they're all up there in the averages sort of thing. If you look back at it, and I think I was talking to someone about it last night. I said my draw for QSchool was horrible. Like the more I look back at it, I'm like, how have I got through some of those games? Is just beyond me. Like I said, it's just about head to the ground, just go for it. Like it's nothing to lose at that point. All you got is something to gain. Like I was quite lucky. I had stuff to fall back on, like modus, challenge draw, and stuff like that. I had loads of stuff to fall back on, so there's no real pressure. I only had something to gain from going to QSchool, which is good.
Yeah, lovely position to be in.
Yeah.
So you're in a bizarre situation where you're sat on 5 points, heading into that last day. You're in the spots
with a plus 24 leg difference, I think it was. So I knew from other stuff. You know me. I'm like yourself. I go through a lot of the stats and stuff. So I was well aware of where I was. Sort of, I was 95% guaranteed at that point. I think it was. But if I got one win, or like was it 2 wins under my belt or something, then I was definitely going to get it. So I knew that if I had 6 points, I was going to get it. And going into that last day, I played Dave Ladley first game, and I was like that the whole time. I've never felt if like I'm one of those people that say I don't really get nervous because I don't normally. I don't. So I enjoy playing the game so much. I don't normally suffer with nerves. I just get excited. But that game just done something else. I didn't play very well, but I scraped through it just about. But yeah, then I had played Thomas Lovely, and Thomas Lovely's a good player. And I know he's a good player. So it was another case of head down, just focus, like get everything out of my head. And that was the most relaxed game I've ever played. I think I was on 190 at one point, and he was sat on 82, and I went treble 20, double 19 to leave 32. Just because I was relaxed. I didn't even think about going for a treble 18 to leave double 8. I just went, right, treble 2, treble 20, double 19, just to try and do something a bit different, leave 32, and it worked. And from there, there was, I think it all sort of went with throw after that. After that little breaking point in the game, I think everything went with throw after that point. and it was 6-5, I think.
And was there a moment when you thought, because obviously that was the point that it got you in, what are you thinking at that point?
After that game, I sat on the table, went back to the site that everyone looks at, where it goes like, you go dark green if you're guaranteed. And I was refreshing, and next thing I know, my name went dark green. That was it. I sat there, I started crying, like happy tears. I was laughing and crying at the same time. Brian said, "Shut up, you're embarrassing me, what you doing?" Like, I just couldn't help it. It was such, like, I've been playing for God knows how long. This is my 5th or 6th time at QSchool. Maybe it could be more than that. I think it must be 5th or 6th. But I've been to QSchool quite a few times. And before then, I got 2 points a couple of years ago. Other than that, I'd never won a point. Last year, I didn't win a single point. I think I won 1 game the whole time in the second stage. So I think it was just a massive release. It was so weird. And the next game, I sort of played with like a big smile on my face and got through that and ended up on 7 points. And I was like, oh, this is good.
Yeah, it's difficult to keep going in that situation because it was almost after the Lord Mayor's show, really. And then you're playing Mike Gillett in the quarterfinals. You're thinking, well, you know.
I was a lot more relaxed in that game than I should have been, but I didn't want to win it on points. It's funny enough, I said that to Dan Dawson in one of the interviews I'd done during the day. Like before everything started, I said, I don't want to win it on points. I want to try and win one outright. Because I've always said it looks better winning one outright. I didn't win one outright. I come third in the order of merit, which is still really good. I'm happy. Like I've done the job. I've got it. But I did want one outright. I really wanted one outright. And I think just a mix of emotions. I think the 7 days caught up with me, and just like I just couldn't raise my game that little bit more that I needed to beat Mike Gillett. Mike Gillett played in a great game as well. I think he had a 90-odd average against me. He played a very, very good game against me. Very, very good.
And then you get home. What's the reaction?
Phone went absolutely ballistic. It went absolutely mental. It's still going mental now. People messaging me that I haven't seen or spoke to for years, just sort of coming out of the woodwork, saying, "Well done. We always knew you'd do it." Obviously, the first thing I done when I got in was give my missus a big hug. That was nice. I think I went to go see my family for the first time because they had COVID over Christmas. So I see my mum and dad for the first time Saturday night, Saturday just gone. I saw them for the first time then, so that was good. They're all really proud and stuff. Like it's been great. Like I was waiting for sort of the naysayers to go, "Oh, you didn't do that well. Like you didn't deserve it or whatever." But that never happened. Like everyone's just been good as gold. Everyone's been really, really nice, and I appreciate it.
That's lovely to hear. Lovely to hear. And so day 8, presumably, just to say, by the way, of the 32 that got tour cards, 7 did all 7 days, and that you were one of those. So only 7. Yeah,
only 7 of them. I thought there'd be more than that.
Yeah, so
I was quite. I didn't want to take 7 days. Trust me, I wanted to do the first day, go home for a few days, then do it the first day, then come back home. That's what I really wanted, but it didn't work out like that. But I think the 7 days helped me because you get acclimatized to the room sort of thing. Like, and when you're playing for that long, you get used to the balls. Like my throws, very much, I have to get used to the throws. Like, because when you go into like a different league or whatever, like normal pub leagues and stuff, the throws aren't always spot on. They're just not. Like, and my throw indoors might not be spot on. I think it is. I've measured it everything like 3 times over, but nothing quite beats being in that room and practicing on those boards. So I think getting used to the boards again after a little while away from them, I think that really helped me over the 7 days.
Yeah, it's interesting. You almost grow into it, don't you? And then and then day 8, you're probably presumably just flat on your face on the just shattered, I would imagine. Or
I was tired. After those. I think I was tired the 2 days after. I didn't pick up a dart for a couple of days. Like people that know me know I sort of practice 9 to 5. I try and treat it like a job, like I'm practicing 8 hours a day or whatever. With breaks in between, like I'm not a machine. I don't like stand at a dartboard for 8 hours. It's just ridiculous. But I do roughly 8 hours a day, like with breaks in between. But I had 2 days off, which was nice. And we went to, where did we go? We went to Top Golf. Not long ago. It was Friday. Went to Top Golf. We went bowling. Went to Chesterton Zoo to feed loads of animals the other day. Had some penguins. One of the penguins bit me.
Oh.
That was
Not on
great.
your hand, not on your throwing hand.
No, on my leg.
Oh,
It bit my leg.
Is that better? I don't think it is.
and it pooed on my shoe, which I had to clean when I got back. Because I wear my dart shoes everywhere I go. So it pooed on my dart shoes, so I had to clean that when I got back.
This is the glamour.
I had a good few days after. I'm making the most of the time I have at the minute, because the schedule this year, I didn't realise, but it's going to be jam-packed.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's come on to that, because because obviously we're coming out the worst stages of the pandemic now. PDC have made their decision to get rid of the Super Series, which is a surprise, I think, because I would have thought.
I'm kind of glad they did, from my point of view, because it's not as bad going away like for the odd weekend here and there sort of thing, but it's not great having to go away for 4 or 5 days at a time. It's not ideal. I'd much rather doing it how they're doing it now, like break it up nicely sort of thing. Like it's nice how they're doing it now. I'd rather not do those blocks.
That's interesting. Yeah, obviously, Milton Keynes, no more Milton Keynes now until next year, according to the calendar. So
off to
Wigan and Barnsley. Yeah.
Off to sunny Barnsley in the 5th of Feb. Last time I was there was when I played my first Pro Tour, wasn't it? Years and years and years ago. Pandemic helped me get into that. But
yes, it did. Yes, I remember you called me. Yes, I remember that. Yes.
It was one of those sort of that there's none of the international players could get there. Players were dropping out left, right, and centre, and I got a phone call.
Yes.
Which was lovely.
Down tools and get on a.
It was. I was at work at 12 o'clock, and I had to make my way to my manager Brian's. I think I got on a train, so I left Mitcham where I was working at 12, and I was on a train up north at about 1:30. So I went straight from there, packed, left. Like I was straight there. I remember the Pro Tour. I had muddy shoes. My dart shoes were muddy because I'd walked through a field or something in my shoes, and I got there and so I can't remember the players now. I remember Lisa Ashton was sticking up for me. She probably wouldn't remember, but I think it was either Aspinall or Chisnell. One of them was taking the mick out of my muddy shoes. Quite funny. So I didn't have time to clean them.
Great times. Well, I'm sure you can reminisce on that with Nathan Aspinall and Chizzy when you see them. And of course, the biggest part of this, UK Open for 2 years.
I know. Here's me thinking, I'm never going to qualify for the UK Open. I was thinking it for ages. I was like, that's the one I really want to qualify for it. Go to one of the Riley's things and win it outright. Like, I really, really want to qualify for it. I think I could have done it, the Riley's qualifiers, if they were done on points. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you rack up a certain amount of points at all the different Rileys. I think I could have done it on that because I got quite deep into a few of them, but never made like a final to win it or anything. But luckily, I get 2 shots at it now, at least.
Well, that's fantastic, isn't it? All those trips to Riley's qualifiers over the years. It's great that you.
Harlow.
Yes. Yes, we did go to.
And you made me stay till the end because you had to film the final. I lost second round, not a happy bunny.
No.
And you made me stay till the end.
Yeah. And it was that did happen, and it was Steve Corrett in the final versus Alex Roy, and it was very methodical because Steve Corrett is the most methodically sort of precise player you'll see against Alex Roy, who was struggling. he will be happy to admit that. And yeah, it was a long day.
It was a very long day. It was a very, very long day.
And then got
We
lost on the way back. Yeah, so that was good.
went the wrong way. I wasn't going to mention it. Went the wrong way.
See, so you can look back on this and laugh now and think, well, at least I don't have to do.
We went to another one as well. Was it Benvenue?
Yes, so Benfleet was the last one. I think it was probably one of the last events of pre-pandemic.
I think it was.
Yeah, and it was you, Jason Askew, Dale Pilgrim in the car. Yeah,
Beard to be feared.
Yes, team 3 beards and a bye, as I called it.
Get 3 beards and a bye.
You know, and again, well, the funny thing is about that one is, well, you played Dan Reed in that one and missed out. We can laugh about it now. And Brian McMahon has won a tour card, and he was there as well.
Yeah, he was. I think I remember saying hello because I played him at the. How long ago must this have been? I played him at the Festival of Youth Darts, and I managed to beat him at that somehow. I don't know how, but so I wasn't as good back then, sort of thing. But yeah, I remember him being there. Someone else was there as well, a German player.
Oh, what is Jitsi Vandervelde? I think he's.
It might have been.
Yeah. I think he's Dutch. He had just won the Challenge Tour the previous week.
Yep, he just won a Challenge Tour. I remember that.
Yeah, so
so long ago.
Well, it does because just society is doing everything that we've gone through is just absolutely insane.
I was talking to someone the other day, and it's like going through a time warp. Whole pandemic thing. Like, QSchool last year, I hardly remember. The year before that, I definitely don't remember. It's like there's so much time has passed. Like since COVID's been a thing, it's ridiculous.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, let's try not to get bogged down. But I will definitely see you for your UK Open debut. Alex Moss and I are going, so we'll be there to see that in some description. So we'll just wrap up then. A word for your sponsors and family members that have thanked you and have helped you on the way.
Yeah, I want to say, how many do I list? I'll say a big thank you to my mum and dad, obviously. My brother for teaching me how to play darts, my granddad for also teaching me. My other nan and granddad. Obviously my other half, Beth, who's been very, very supportive. Like, been an absolute diamond, especially with me going away and stuff like that. Been amazing. Obviously my manager, Brian, who without him, I probably wouldn't be able to play to the level that I do now. I wouldn't know the little tips and tricks that come with it. My mate, Ben, for giving me stick where it's due and praise when it's due. My mate Nathan for always calling me, even if I don't always answer his phone calls. All my other family, loads. Luke Constable for driving me everywhere. Yourself for driving me everywhere all over the years. Loads of people. Mission for the support they're giving me. I nearly said Target then. L-Style, all the support they're giving me. It's just mental. I've got so many people to thank. Like if I miss anyone out, it's not on purpose. My memory just isn't very good. There's a lot to go through. So thank you, everyone.
Amazing.
And the Weekly Dartcast for keep asking me to do interviews.
Yes, you were. As I say, you were. For Alex and myself, you were the first guest along with Diogo on the first episode 5 years ago. So it's been great to see both of your progress. So we always thank you for your time. Thank you for your time today.
Anytime.